Hello everybody, I'm Ziggy the Wine Gal. Welcome to Taste Live from MUSEXPO. Super excited to be here today because I've got one of my favorite bubblies of all time. Not only that, there's a total synergy that's happening with this bubbly and then what goes on in my life. With Ziggy the Wine Gal, I have radio shows from coast to coast, weekly and daily, but I'm also a rock and roll sommelier. So I work a lot with rock stars, and I know kind of what goes on behind the scenes, backstage, and that's what you're going to get a little glimpse of today at Taste Live. So I want to welcome Christi Buell from MUMM, and we're going to talk about this bubbly that we have in front of us.
Great.
Santana, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So, you know, I'm very familiar with MUMM products, as I'm sure a lot of you have tasted some of the MUMM bubbles out there in the past. The Blanc de Noir, one of my favorites. However, a few years back, I had the privilege of spending the day with your winemaker, Ludovic, and he said, Zig, this whole thing you have going on with the rock and roll world, let me introduce you to something that we're doing with Carlos Santana. And I just like lit up. I couldn't believe it. So we tasted through a DVX, which is a style of bubbles that you guys do.
Right.
And this sparkling wine is amazing. And when I looked at this packaging today, I thought, wow, isn't that stellar and standout? So tell us a little bit about what we're drinking today.
It is a beautiful label, isn't it?
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. So this is a collaboration that we did with Carlos Santana. And the first one we did was back in '99 when we did our DVX Santana. And this is the next reiteration of that. And this is a blend that Carlos Santana came and worked with our winemakers to select. And then he also chose the dosage. As you all know, the dosage is the final touch that we put in the wine that kind of determines the style of the wine.
So somebody is watching this for the first time and perhaps they're just getting into sparkling wines. What would dosage mean to somebody that perhaps isn't familiar with the dosage?
Every sparkling wine that is made has a very dry finish at the end after fermentation, and it can be not as pleasant to the average drinker. So a brut style is given just a small bit of sugar at the very final touch of the winemaking process, and that's about 1% is a brut, and this is a brut style. If you have a demi,
a little shot of sugar,
a little bit of reserve wine, and that is what replaces the yeast as it pops out when you do the discourage.
So, you know, I've traveled extensively to the Champagne region, and I can tell you that when you're making sparkling wines, the way that the grapes are picked, they're picked at a really, really high acidity level, and they're quite tart. And you have to develop an intense palate to be able to handle the tartness. And after things go through fermentation in the world of winemaking in that process, and then you go through a secondary fermentation process that happens inside the bottle when you make it in a traditional method. So it's after all that happens, and then the wine is disgorged, the little cap comes off the top, and before you put the cork on it, that's when the dosage goes in, correct?
Correct.
All right, just wanted to, you know, kind of explain things. So that little shot of sugar at the end, sometimes folks include a brandy with that, and, you know, sometimes
it could be a different
wine.
It could be a red wine. You know, you could make a rosé out of that. You could do a reserve wine.
So in particular, with the Santana that we're enjoying now, you see this rock star label on the front, which is eye-catching. Is this something that folks can buy at a store? Do they have to come to the winery? Can they order it online? Join a wine club? Or how does that work?
We focus this wine in our wine club, and it's only available through the winery and on our website, MUMMNAPA.com. So it's not available in stores.
It's very smooth, but I'm getting just this incredible aroma of a green apple and some young Asian pear, and I'm also getting a little hint of yeast and a little nuttiness to it, which is really inviting to me. I mean, it just smells deliciously complex.
Exactly. It has a little bit of that brioche from the aging. We aged this 3.5 years, 42 months on the lees. So you really pick up that nice yeasty, but it is still that California fruit forward style.
It's beautiful. So what would a wine like this retail for?
This bottle retails for $45.
Affordable.
Exactly.
I mean, when you think about a rock star wine, right? Who doesn't want to drink a little rock star Santana at home and get that feel for when you're backstage?
Right.
So Katie asks, is it a Blanc de Blanc? And that's a good question. Thank you, Katie, for tuning in today to Taste Live. Blanc de Blanc, of course, would be 100% Chardonnay. Let's talk a little bit about the grape varietals that you put in the Santana wine.
This bottling is 65% Pinot Noir and 35% Chardonnay.
So it's a true brut
Correct.
style, especially with the dosage.
It's a very traditional blend for a champagne sparkling wine.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Katie. So now with this wine, do you know along the process when the wine is being made, I mean, I'm getting a real rich texture to this. Has it seen any oak in the winemaking process before it goes into bottle, or?
We didn't have any oak treatment.
So 100% stainless steel?
Just stainless steel, correct.
Fermentation all the way through.
Correct.
Great, great. So make sure to log on if you have any questions. You can certainly ask us any questions about the Santana. I want to know how many times he comes into the winery to do the dosage trials. And if you have a schedule ahead of time, I might be able to get.
Well, I have to say Carlos Santana is a very generous man. He's a very beautiful man. He has a beautiful aura. And he comes to the winery probably every 1 year, 2 years, and he will sit down with my making team. But he's a really neat guy. He goes downstairs. So we're kind of built into a hill, so our production level is all downstairs, and he goes downstairs and meets every single employee, and he talks to everyone, and he's a really, really neat person. And if I can mention also, a lot of the proceeds from this bottling go to Carlos Santana's Milagro Foundation.
That's
which is
really important to know.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a worldwide foundation that he started that helps children around the world get into doing music projects, things like that.
See, that's really
children
important.
in need.
And he's known for giving back.
Exactly.
I mean, Carlos is always giving back, not only to the community that he lives in, but also communities worldwide. A good friend of mine, Grace, who's blogger extraordinaire, has sent us a note saying she's getting a lot of subtle strawberry every time she is smelling the wine and tasting the wine. Thank you for that tasting note, Grace. Lane has commented on the creaminess of this, especially on the nose. She's getting kind of a real creamy aroma. Is that kind of typical for this style wine?
I'm thinking from the extended aging.
So what is the total production of this now? I mean, does it change every time he does a different dosage, or?
It does. So this is a non-vintage product.
Right.
Which is sort of a tradition that we've kept from our champagne roots. This particular vintage is made 2,200 cases.
Okay, so how many cases are left? Do we know? I mean, can you still get it?
We
Can you sign up to get on the next list?
So we just sent it to our wine club.
Okay.
And so we have a little bit left from that release. And
Awesome.
we also have it at MUMMNAPA.com.
Okay, so you can go to the website, sign up to get it, and then of course I would imagine it might be something like one of those backstage guest lists that you might want to get on that waiting list should they run out. You want to get in there ahead of time.
We always have a waiting list for this wine. Yep.
Good. Well, it's a beautiful wine, beautiful package, and a beautiful story. What a unique thing to be able to partner with somebody legendary like Carlos Santana, be able to put his name on here, be able to have proceeds go to the Milagro Foundation. And you know what, at the end of the day, it's just a great glass of wine.
Exactly.
And you know, bubbly goes with everything, start to finish. So no matter what you're eating or not, it's going to go with it, from appetizers all the way through dessert, whether you're having a steak dinner, whether you're having pasta, fish, whatever, or you just want to have a lovely glass of bubbly for breakfast,
Sushi.
or lunch, or dinner, right? Thanks to all the bloggers for tuning in today to Taste Live, and thank you for coming on.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Live from MUSEXPO. It's Katie the Wine Gal.